Is it that time? Is it the death of the ACC? Has Florida State took the wooden stick and dropped it inside of them? Is it a done deal? I don't know, but I can tell you this. This is crazy, right? Conference realignment from Nebraska deciding that they did not like that Texas was going to have their own network, shifting all the way into USC, UCLA, going to the Big Ten, Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. Now it's time for the ACC to fully implode itself, especially after the Pac decided to go down to 2 teams. We got to talk about it. Florida State has filed a lawsuit against the ACC in the first steps to getting the hell up out that conference. Let's dive into it. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. Y'all know what it is. We're here talking a lot of college football, mainly OU football, but college football in general, and we have a blast doing it. So I want y'all to hop in the comments and let your boy know what's your thoughts. Where's Florida State going? Are they going to stick it out? Are they going to be stuck in the ACC? Will they end up in the SEC? Or may they go to the Big Ten? I want to hear from you all, because the way things are looking right now, boy, things are bad in the ACC. Like, we thought the Pac-12 was bad, in which now that the Pac-2, ACC is going to quickly implode just like them if things go down the way it is. Now, let's talk about the news. This is what happened. So, Florida State, the Board of Trustees had an emergency meeting today, just Friday, right before the holiday, right? Best time to do it. Try to hide this bad boy in the news cycle of the weekend for the holidays. And they are fighting and challenging the ACC's grant of rights, which is, for lack of better terms, the contractual agreement that they have with the ACC for their television rights and all of that jazz, right? Well, they filed the lawsuit in Leon County, and they want out of the ACC. They want out of the grant of rights. They want out of the exit fee that they're supposed to pay. They also want out on the television broadcasting rights money that they would lose if they left the ACC. Let me put into perspective on the numbers. $572 million is the cost for Florida State to get up out of there. Florida State's going to have to give up. They have to pay a $130 million exit fee and give up $400 million in broadcasting rights. That was the deal they signed. Now, the argument that they have, which is kind of a compelling one, is that the ACC hasn't done a good job of negotiating the rights that they said they would. They basically breached their contract by not providing them with a quality television contract, especially after what you saw that the SEC got and the Big Ten got. In order for Florida State and any other school in the ACC to compete with the monies that those conferences are throwing around to their schools and with NIL, you kind of got to have a better broadcasting rights deal. You got to have better money. You got to be able to have better facilities. And because everyone is fighting over money, this could be right here the death of college football. Now, do I think it's extreme like that? Not really. But the fact that the gap is so large, the Big Ten and SEC schools, it's like $30 million a school in gap pay, in what the difference in pay is from those conferences to the ones in the ACC. And it's growing. It's going to do nothing but get bigger because the television contract the ACC has goes all the way out to 2036. So unless they can find a way to get ESPN to renegotiate that, which ESPN will be stupid to renegotiate that contract. They got what they wanted. ACC thought locking in long term was going to get them a better deal. And it didn't, because the rights just keep going up. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, we're nowhere near the ceiling on rights for collegiate sports because it's a commodity that y'all want. I mean, hell, y'all here on my channel watching this. So Florida State's got a lot of work to do if they think that they don't believe in the ACC doing their part in helping them to be competitive. I mean, we just saw that Florida State was suing Well, the state of Florida, their governor decided they wanted to sue the College Football Playoff Committee and try to find a way to get the Orange Bowl added to the College Football Playoffs. I mean, Georgia jumped into the lawsuit as well because they felt like they were slighted. But Georgia didn't think they were slighted any other year, but I digress. Or anybody else was slighted. The crazy part is, Florida State has an argument. They won all the games they were supposed to, and they were kicked out of competition because of one little clause they added to their selection criteria. If they would have lost Jared Verse instead of losing Jordan Travis, they'd probably still be in the playoffs. Because that's how important quarterbacks are, folks. Remember that. If you ain't got a quarterback, you ain't got nothing. But the crazy part about this is that this is a ripple effect that's going to eventually lead into the breakup of the ACC and growth of the SEC, the Big Ten, and honestly the Big 12. You know the Big 12 is going to start poaching some of those schools. They've already got teams out there on the East Coast. They've already snatched up a West Virginia when the Big East imploded. They've got UCF. They're going to start teetering themselves that direction. I can expect them to snatch up Louisville. I can expect them to try to go after Miami. You're going to see the Big 12 grow into it's going to be 3 big major conferences in college football at some point. That's the way things are shaping themselves up to be. And I want to know from y'all, hop in the comments, how y'all feel about college football's new changing phase? How do y'all feel about college football really shifting itself to 3 power conferences and everybody else? Because it's going to happen. The question is, where does Clemson go? Where does North Carolina go? Where does Florida State go? Where does Miami go? Those are the big questions. Who all are going to be picked up by the big conferences? Who's going to get snatched up and brought in? It's a lot to talk about. If y'all made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for y'all to join this family. We're going to start expanding more into college football, baby. We're going to be talking a lot of SEC ball because my Sooners are there with my Vols. It's going to be interesting. I now have to retire one team, unfortunately, but we're going to be talking ball in general and having a blast doing it. So feel free to join us, subscribe, like, and share. Why? Because sharing is caring. So let's see what happens with Florida State. This is going to be an interesting next 2 weeks to see where this goes. We'll talk about it as it develops. Peace.